Welcome to AZPM News Daily, a wrap-up of all the day's news from Arizona Public Media. I'm Steve Jess, and on this Tuesday, Wall Watch keeps an eye on border construction.
Residents were telling us that they were getting no information from the federal government.
An effort to reform school vouchers dies in the state Supreme Court.
The campaign delivered around 420,000 signatures of support.
And a Tucson man heads out to sea for a month-long research project.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, wait, I actually qualify for this.
That's ahead for this Tuesday, August 18th, 2026. To begin, a new online mapping project is asking local residents to submit photos of wall construction and other developments across the U.S.-Mexico border. Angela Gervasi has the details.
The project is called Wall Watch, and the goal is to document construction and other infrastructure projects along the border. That's according to Melissa Del Bosque. She's the co-founder of the Border Chronicle, the independent news outlet that launched the project. Del Bosque says over the last few months, she's been getting calls from residents along the border from Texas to California about new construction.
What residents were telling us is that they were getting no information from the federal government about what their plans were. They were completely in the dark about what was happening. So there was a lot of anxiety, a lot of concern.
As of Tuesday afternoon, community members along the border had submitted more than 20 reports to Wall Watch. I'm Angela Gervasi, AZPM News.
The campaign to reform Arizona's voucher program in this year's election is over after the state Supreme Court invalidated its signatures. Noor Hagigi explains.
The Protect Education Act, or Proposition 212 as it would have been known on the ballot, is no longer up for the people's vote this November. Last month, a campaign run by public school advocates delivered around 420,000 signatures of support, well above the number required for ballot validation. But a lower court ruled that some had been counted twice. On Tuesday, the Arizona Supreme Court upheld that decision. The proposition would have added an income cap of $150,000 for program eligibility. It also aimed to administer standardized tests and require fingerprint clearance for staff in voucher-funded schools. More than 100,000 students use the Empowerment Scholarship Accounts voucher program. Noor Hagigi, AZPM News.
The town of Marana swore in Mayor John Post last night. Post says one of the priorities for the next 2 years is to complete the town's acquisition of the Tortolita Preserve, a 2,400-acre nature preserve near the Tortolita Mountains.
We're working through a process of trying to become the owners of that property and not rent it from the state.
He defeated candidate Greg Johnson in the July 21 primary to serve out the remaining 2 years of the late Mayor Ed Honey's term. Post, who was serving as vice mayor, was appointed mayor in 2025 following Honey's death. A new federal plan for managing the Colorado River is expected to be complete in a few days, but Arizona has already spelled out its issues with it. The state's top water official told the Bureau of Reclamation the water-sharing plan could inflict catastrophic harm on Arizona's citizens and outlined arguments that could form the basis of a lawsuit over the Colorado River. Climate change and drought have been shrinking the river's supply, and cities and farms have not done enough to cut back on demand accordingly. The 7 states that use the river, Arizona, California, Nevada, Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, and Wyoming, have been locked in disagreement about how to do so for years, forcing the federal government to come up with its own strategy. If you're looking for a new family pet this fall, the Arizona Game and Fish Department suggests you take a chance on a desert tortoise. Because the tortoises are often subject to illegal captive breeding, they can carry respiratory diseases and cannot be released back into the wild. This year, the department has over 100 of them looking for a home. The department's tortoise adoption program matches dozens of the native species to adopters to support their conservation. The tortoises vary in both age and size. As a state-protected species, they cannot be taken out of state. You can find more information on the AZPM website. Housing construction is picking up in Arizona, but the state still faces a shortage of homes, and many Arizona households remain locked out because of the cost. Catherine Davis-Young has more.
The annual State of Housing in Arizona report from the state's 3 public universities shows a few encouraging signs. Rent prices appear to be leveling off after years of skyrocketing increases, and home construction is at its highest point in a decade. But Allison Cook Davis, who co-authored the report, says solving the state's housing shortage isn't just a matter of building more.
It's also about creating enough housing choices that people at different incomes and stages of life can find a place that they can afford.
Cook Davis says the housing shortage is most acute for Arizona's lowest income renters. The report notes housing costs in the state are still outpacing wage growth. I'm Catherine Davis Young in Phoenix.
Senator Mark Kelly wants the federal government to give the green light to more work on portions of Interstate 11, currently being built between Phoenix and Las Vegas. I-11 is designed to ultimately run from Canada to Mexico. In Arizona, it would reduce reliance on Interstate 10. The Federal Highway Administration is working on an environmental impact statement for southern sections of the proposed interstate. Kelly reached out to the agency on Monday to ask whether the state can get started on any preparatory work on the portions of the corridor between Wickenburg and Casa Grande. A Tucson native is heading to sea for a month-long expedition on the Pacific Ocean. Adam Harper, a U of A film and television graduate, was one of 19 interns selected for the Nautilus Live Science and Engineering Internship Program. He talked to AZPM about the internship application just before leaving port in Guam.
And that's when the door flew open, and I'm like, oh my goodness, wait, I actually qualify for this, like very much so.
During the 30-day expedition, he'll operate the ship's cameras and video systems for the live stream. Harper said he used to keep the Nautilus live stream running in the background while he was doing homework in college. The ship left for Wake Island today, and data collection is set to begin tomorrow. And now you're caught up on the stories we've covered today at Arizona Public Media. Thanks for listening. You can subscribe to AZPM News Daily wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Steve Jess, and we'll be back tomorrow.